are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, actually.
Yeah?
Having a of mm, a lot of thoughts in my head running, but looking
Whew.
forward to this wonderful life.
I have been looking forward to this live too. Good company, good poetry.
I
It'll be
know.
nice. It'll be nice. So, how
Yeah.
has your week been?
Well, my week has been difficult at work, but to tell you the truth, it's always worth the battle once it comes to education. So it's
Absolutely.
but given the situation lately and what's going on,
Big
uh,
education battle coming up, isn't there?
yeah, there's a big decision that
Mm.
might take place and might hurt a lot of us fellow teachers and
Yeah,
the educational system at large. So
which
uh,
is just
I'm a little afraid, but
disappointing.
listen, we have a big union,
You do.
the United Federation of Teachers. I don't think will let us down.
I
So
hope not. I really hope not.
we are very
It's
we
important.
we are very supportive of each other and of course of what we do with the future of our society. You know,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
Suki.
Hi,
Hi,
Sue,
Suki.
how are you? Oh, I know. I've been looking forward to this life so much.
We are doing good. How are you doing? We were just discussing the state of things right now because our life actually does involve it a bit, the things we discuss on here. And Leslie is a teacher. We're both women. We both have reproductive systems, minds of our own.
Ah, I mean, he says that he's gonna provide education for every single child in the country, but at the same time, he wants to dismantle
He
the
wants to dismantle it.
he
He's
wants.
for the book burning. He doesn't want science to be learned, science to be taught.
Mm-hmm.
He
He wants.
doesn't believe in environmental science.
Yeah,
So,
it's.
great education.
I mean, it's just not. It's a lot. It. Oh, how will it affect us? It would affect us dearly.
It will.
I don't know.
But
Just afraid of things that he has said, and you know. I
Suki
mean,
said she was crushed. Yeah.
but it depends also on who is he's going to appoint as the Secretary of Education.
Mm. Well, we know how well he did last time.
Let's cross our fingers. Let's cross our fingers. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
everything will be okay. Because number one, the educational system does need the funding.
It does.
So,
Everywhere. Even the places that don't want to accept it. Federal funding is always welcome in education.
but I mean, his expansion of private education versus the public is also a thing to consider, and I don't, it's just so much.
Especially what's brought it about. Yeah.
It's,
Well,
I mean, me being an educator, I know it's going to affect me. This decision is going to affect me, but it's a double whammy for me because it's also going to affect women at large. Period. This this choice, I don't want my choices. I don't want the choices of future young girls to be taken away from them. Their
the
choice.
very fact
It's
women worked so hard to get Roe v. Wade in place, to get control of their bodies. Anybody who knows women of that age knows what they've had to go through to be able to get abortions. The back alleys, the dirty hangers, the people who are not qualified to do it, the beating. the medications, well, the drugs that weren't medications, just the deaths again and again and again. The deaths, the permanent scarring, permanent injuries, and that this is all being overturned. I tell you what, I've known many women who've had abortions, and I would say 8 to 9 out of 10 of those are the very women that vote for people not to have the right to have abortions. And they do it quietly, and then they go somewhere and it's on a vacation. It's visiting their cousin. And I find that appalling. It disgusts me that you would take another woman's right away to control her own body, and then you go do it privately, hush hush, because you're ashamed. No. And even if you regret it, it's still your choice. It should be each individual woman's choice. She wants to discuss it with her family and her whoever the partner is that's gotten her pregnant. If it was consensual, that's one thing. But a government, a man, nobody should have control over a woman's body, especially if it's non-consensual. Please.
Um, that's the thing. I mean, I don't understand if a if a young lady is hurt, and out of that hurt, out of being um, accosted or something, and um, a life ensues, how can she be forced?
Yeah. It's not fair. It's not fair to her. It's not fair to the child.
So we are in we are at a moment in our society where we need to be very fearful, but
Yeah.
always hope.
We don't stop fighting. We don't give up hope. We don't bow over and make excuses for people who did vote a freaking sadistic, cruel, misogynistic man into power. I mean,
I
I,
love, but that's
I,
exactly what.
that's exactly what it is. Why should I apologize for speaking the truth? He goes up on stage and says the crap himself. I'm not saying anything that he hasn't said on video for them to see time and time and time again. That's what disappoints me. He's him. He's him. That's fine. You do you, dude. But the people that would vote for that and say, I want you to be my leader, you sadistic, misogynistic, racist son of a bitch, I want you to be my leader. No, I have no sympathy for that. I don't. I don't. And I make no apology for it.
Mm-mm.
That's just how it is. I make no apology for it. If it hurts your feelings, you shouldn't have voted for him. That's how
I mean,
I feel.
there's his mouth is unfiltered about his beliefs about the other sex, and
Yes.
it's
And
not
other
edu-
nationalities, other
and
ethnicities.
other ethnicities. His thoughts have not been veiled at all. It is what it is, and you voted this in.
And he
I
blatantly lies on it. Blatantly. No, I
I
have no sympathy.
no, there is nothing. You know, he still maintains his innocence about attacking another woman, sexually
Even though
assault,
he's on camera. Yeah.
even though there's proof. But no,
Even though there's proof, even though he's on camera, even though he's on camera about Epstein, it's like, but hey, let's believe what we need to so that we can feel good about ourselves.
yes, indeed.
Hi,
Kat,
how are you doing, Nate?
how are you? Yay! Well, we were just rambling on for the last 10 minutes
10
about
minutes.
the situation in society, but um, what do you say?
Shall we read some poetry?
Yes, let's read some poetry. We have now Suki and Nate here, so
Yes.
start our wonderful life. Welcome, 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 everybody.
Welcome. Who are you?
I am Nasha Bella, and I am on Instagram and here on YouTube. Um, Nasha Bella, the beautiful owl, and my real name is Leslie Levy, and we are gathered here today for Feline.
Friday Cravings. Meow.
Yes, we
Yes,
are going to read some good stuff. How
we
about you?
are.
Who are
We
you,
are.
baby?
Well, before I introduce myself, I'd like to remind everybody, please, if you haven't already, go follow Nashabella on YouTube so that when we do these lives, we can go back and forth between our schedules. We need to get her up to 50 followers, and that would be so relished. We
Yeah,
would pickle you a lot if you would do that.
tickle
And
me.
pickle! Yes, and I am Angelique, otherwise known as From the Breath of Daydreams, on both Instagram and YouTube. And I'm a poet, just like Leslie is, and we enjoy reading other poets' poetry, and that is what we're going to be doing tonight. We picked a topic, hysteria, and let the poets have at it how they would. And we like to read dark poetry and sensual poetry and delicious poetry with scrumptious words and rhythms. And that is what we are going to be doing. Thank you, Nadine. Nadine says we are looking lovely.
Ah, thank you. Yay!
Yay.
Yeah, we are in a
So,
hint of purple, aren't we?
yes. And so after the live, we will be posting everybody who we read tonight down into the caption along with the timestamp so you can enjoy them. And we encourage y'all to go follow them on Instagram because we're just giving one tiny little portion of what they write. They all write many, many different types of poetry, many forms, many rhythms, many styles, and they are delicious, delicious word players and poets. And I think you might would enjoy reading them.
You are
I do.
so right, Angelique. And now, a
Shall we
little bit
have at it?
area, I guess.
A little hysteria.
Back in the days, way, way back when, hysteria was considered a malady. Uh, and it was actually a term for our women, what
Oh,
they,
yes, only one.
of course. And we were subjected to weird, weird treatments to treat hysteria, which it was
Goes
just
back.
it was just emotional distress that women go through, emotional imbalance, hormonal imbalance of some kind. But one of the most extreme ones that I read was that they would insert snails, leeches,
Leeches. Very different than
our
snails. Leeches.
orifice into our love canal. And it was not pleasant. All these crazy things that women were subjected to. Um, it's
Not the
just,
fantasy women have about having a leech suck their blood, huh?
no,
Help it. I'm sorry.
that area. Imagine, oh, no. But yeah, that was hysteria. And, it was used for all kinds of psychological disorders, but it was mainly a women's disease,
Yes.
you know.
Hysteria actually means womb, right? Or uterus, one of
Mm-hmm.
those things. Yes,
So we thought that as women and
horrible. Yes.
as women that are feel empowered, I do
Hmm.
believe.
I do. And there's nothing wrong with sexuality.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with my sexuality or
No.
any sexuality. Um, I thought that would be a wonderful prompt, and so We did get some goodies
We
here.
did. So
So
excited. Shall we read them? Should we start with you
let's
and get
start.
this going? All
The
right.
poet is me, Nasha Bella. And the title of the piece is called Crescendo.
Love a good crescendo.
The longing, the craving, the hankering, the hunger. Debauched hysteria gives into urges, ripping my insides asunder. All the passion emerges. The craving, the hankering, the hunger, the longing. Daylight dissipates, delighted dreams slide. Ardent impulses are storming into a drowsy mind where the tender thrills glide. The hankering, the hunger, the longing, the craving. Silent secrets stir in the stillness. A silhouette dances as the crescendo's flaming, soft sighs devouring sweetness. The hunger, the longing, the craving, the hankering. As the night entangles a world of its own, intimate strokes scattering, feeling in the quiet self love finds its home.
Woo! Love this for multiple reasons. One, I don't remember who the original person was for that poem, but I know we both got it from Random Bob,
Yeah,
SXYZ. And it's not a form, I don't think, but it might as well be. But
it might well be that repetition and that.
that alternating refrain,
I am definitely going to use that
oh,
again because,
yes,
oh, and of course, you used it as soon as I saw it from you, and then I read his, and then I read
oh,
hers.
first,
Oh my goodness.
right?
What a delightful poem that was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it drives home those four words over and over and over again. And it does, however you choose, you can your choice should be talking about war, then those
Do
four words
whatever. Yeah.
put about war, or you know what's going on lately, you can put it about that.
May have to, may have to. That's a good idea. Passionate about it. And that's what I like about what you did. You got passionate about with your words. I mean, you start from ripping my insides asunder. All the passion emerges because you were just driven to it. And that takes you all the way to that end stanza where you describe taking care of that need within you. And I love, love, love the way that you say the intimate stroke scattering, dot, 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 because you know I love a good ellipsis.
Yes,
Feeling. Oh, yes, yes. And the quiet self love finds its home. The hankering, the hunger, the longing, the craving.
there's nothing as fulfilling as taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. We can take care of it. Well, we can take care of that quite quickly and quite
Yes,
easily, can we not?
yes, and
And
effectively.
effectively, yes. And Nadine says, fire and Suki. It's like, oh, you have made my heart thumpa thumpa with all your fire, sent me into outer space and have me sparkling, Leslie. And
Yes.
Nadine says, I agree. Smiley, smiley.
Of course, Nadine agrees. Oh, there's a juicy one coming of hers about the
Well,
same thing, I believe. Oh,
yes, we need one of those. We need one of those cigars so we can go like a waka waka or something like that. um, but I love this. What's your favorite part about it, Leslie, that you wrote?
for me is the fact that for me is I called it a devout hysteria, um, because you do get those urges that are so strong. Like, okay, there's no denying that I need to satisfy this need,
Yes.
and
Yes.
there's no the beautiful thing about satisfying that need is that we are so we don't need visuals.
No, they hurt
We
sometimes.
we don't need extra stimulus because everything is already stored in here. It's a big difference between how a man needs sometimes that visual stimulus. Women do not need that, really.
No, they need their brain
In order,
stimulated.
yeah, they just need, and so that's when I said, okay, it's not daylight is dissipating, it's gone, and you're in that quiet silent state. That's when it's perfect. When
Yes.
everything's just nice and quiet. You quiet your mind, you take yourself somewhere, and it's just delightful. So it's the overall feeling that of being comfortable not only with yourself but with your body, and being
Yeah,
able not feel afraid of actually um, touching it, caressing it, and feeling your own power, your own womanhood. It's just beautiful.
I love that you bring that up for us to talk about because in so many parts of society, and indeed many of the parts that voted for what has occurred, women are taught that you don't feel that. Women don't have needs. Women don't feel desire and passion. There's women who've never looked at themselves, never touched themselves, have no idea how to stroke their own fire, how to relieve their own desire and passion. And I think that's such a shame because women are such sensual creatures. Um,
You are.
we should know our own bodies. We should explore our own bodies. We should not be ashamed of our bodies or our desires or our needs or what we enjoy. And the men or women in our lives should encourage that, nurture that, love us for who we are. And I love that you're bringing that up. And I hope any women that watch this that maybe do feel shy or feel a little nervous, that's okay too. It is okay to feel shy. It's okay to feel
Hi,
nervous. Hi,
how
Pradita.
uh I
But
mean,
you can overcome that. And even if you're still shy, you can still enjoy yourself while overcoming it and while becoming more comfortable with who you are and what your desires are and what you enjoy. And then you can tell your partner, I don't like that, but I like this. Or let's
it's
explore.
wonderful being able to tell your partner how you feel and how you like being stroked and
Yes,
and taken
some
care.
intimacy.
Intimacy is so needed. Nate says our minds are, and also engaging with our emotions. And yes, to all you both are saying 100%, 100%.
And relish you saying that, Nate. Absolutely. Um,
And
we
particularly,
need to be comfortable talking about this because we're not. We've been taught to be ashamed and we've been taught to hide our heads or whisper or it's not ladylike to discuss it in public. Well,
no, I'm
I
not
don't
going to,
know about
I'm sorry, I'm not going to be quiet about how I feel.
no. And
I'm
my
too old for
grandma
that.
told me when when I was a young adult, my grandma pulled me aside. It made me blush ferocious because I would have never thought of my grandma saying something like this. And she said, now, Cricket, you know, you're to be a lady in the parlor and a whore
And a whore.
in the bedroom,
Hmm.
and it's okay.
No,
So
it's
maybe,
all and wise saying that I I even got it from one of my aunts. So
yeah, and I think that with each generation, I mean, depending upon where, women become more empowered. Women become more confident in who they are and their bodies and their sexuality. They're okay if people call them names because stupid people call names. They're okay with all that. And all we need to do is keep passing it on and building it up. And eventually, that won't need to be said anymore because women will just be confident. They'll be confident to say no. A woman who is empowered with her sexuality, a teenager who is empowered with who she is and that she is a strong female and that she has control of her body, is comfortable to say no, is comfortable to say, do you have protection? Because they're going to have sex. They're going to have sex. But a woman who is comfortable with who she is, a young girl who is comfortable with who she is, and that it is okay to say no, or do you have protection, or I am not going to do this without a condom. That is so important. So important. And
So,
that's the difference in teen pregnancies and not having teen pregnancies. Education
education. You are so right. Oh, my
and
grandmother,
lack of shame.
that's Nate's.
Yes. So thank you for bringing it up. I think I love doing this live for these opportunities, right? Because these are important.
Definitely. And so now it's you. Now
Now
it's
it's
your,
me.
your turn to be yummy stuff.
So this is written to the same form or sort of form. I don't know if it's a real form. Um, and I'm from the Breath of Daydreams, Angelique, and this is called Her Hysteria.
Oh, that's wonderful, Pradipta, to say, especially you, gentlemen in the room. Never
Oh,
hesitate to say no. If they respect you, they won't force you.
thank you so much for saying that, Pradipta.
You. Thank you.
Absolutely. That is so true. Thank you.
Such a gentleman. Thank you. We appreciate your input.
Yes. And so this is her hysteria. Melancholia, nervousness, overwrought, fainting, fashionably moody and wistfully morose, daydreaming of a sin who won't let her get close. Need conjures delusions that writhe inside her head. Fainting, melancholia, overwrought, nervousness, unbridled swooning from cravings insatiable, imagining his touch, though thoroughly unattainable. Her wanton desires remain underfed. Nervousness, fainting, melancholia overwrought. Panting palpitations eagerly spirit her away. Giggles blush her ardor with states of mind she can't convey. Interpret carnality. Intemperate carnality has her writhing in her head. Let me start that. I apologize, starting that over. I am wearing my distance glasses, so I'm kind of squinting and kind of making out the words because my computer screen is just far enough away that my work computer glasses are not strong enough and my distance glasses are too strong. So I'm trying to balance out the happy middle. I have like three different prescriptions of glasses, so I apologize, guys. My
Not a
stigmatism is wonky. So nervousness, fainting, melancholia overwrought, panting palpitations eagerly spirit her away. Giggles blush her ardor with states of mind she can't convey. Intemperate carnality has her writhing in her bed. Overwrought nervousness, fainting, melancholia. Irritatingly frenzied, she bucks hedonistic, contorting sensations with thoughts masochistic. Feverishly wilting, she'll cry in his stead.
I I adore. I believe yes. The unbridled swooning from cravings insatiable. Imagining his touch, because he's not there right now.
No,
Imagining his touch, though thoroughly unattainable. And then you go to that end where irritatingly frenzied she bucks. Oh, she bucks hedonistic. Oh, how wonderful that is. Ah,
thank you.
comforting sensations with thoughts masochistic. Oh,
Mm.
Nate says unbridled swoonings.
Thank you. Well, I was like, I wanted to make sure with the hysteria, I did some research to remind myself, and that's where I got the nervousness, fainting, melancholia, overwrought, because that's was signs of hysteria. But then I wanted to, throughout all of it, weave in some of what was described on each of those different words that the woman would go through, and then also just place myself in a time period where women and men are deeply chaperoned and separated, and relationships are assigned, and there would be a lot of that going on, I imagine, and they wouldn't have any idea what they're feeling or why they're feeling it because they're not allowed to talk about it.
Not allowed to talk about it, not allowed to feel it.
Yeah.
No. It's
So it would.
loving from afar, because basically you could hardly even touch hands.
Yes,
Everything
yes.
chaperoned back then, you know, back in those days. And then to have this wacko doctors do all these things to women because they were feeling this way. But it's, can you imagine your sensuality being sequestered, closeted? I I don't I can't conceive a society in which that is the case. I can't, not
I
anymore.
think it's the case. I think it's the case in many societies right in front of us, here in the States even. It depends on what your circle is. Um,
Well, I'm glad I wasn't in that circle.
I
And still not.
I didn't know what things were until I experienced them. I was very sheltered in that sense. And so I did not know what stuff was until I experienced it. And I don't recommend that being the way you go about finding out things, but it's how a lot of people do, and I imagine even more so back then.
Um, I had the, well, uh, I had a really rough teenage stage, and I became an emancipated minor by the age of 16. So
Mm.
um, I I explored.
Yeah.
I I bloomed early.
I, I think that's a healthy thing for it's a natural thing, isn't it? I mean,
Mm,
that is what our hormones set for us to do, whether we want to acknowledge it or not.
definitely.
That is what we're set to do. So what better way to be able to do it than with understanding and education and a knowledge of why and a knowledge of what to do that is not harmful to yourself, what to do that is harmful to yourself. I mean, well, what not to do, but there's it is much better for young men and women to learn how to have sex and engage in all the different, whether you consider what the play is taboo or not, how to engage in these things in a healthy, safe, consensual way that does not cause physical harm or emotional harm than it is for young kids who have no context of what they're watching to learn how to do it on hardcore porn on the internet.
Mm,
Because what they're watching on that is not reality based for the majority of people.
exactly. It's not.
And certain
It's not love.
and it's not a way to introduce yourself to intimacy. Um, if you want to engage in it, that's fine and that's great, and it can be fun depending on what it is. But for a person starting out, it's not safe,
Oh yes.
really. Um, so
Says,
talking about
damn,
it's good.
Angelique,
I know what.
fire, fire.
Thank you, Suki.
Your writing sparkles, she says. So let's read the next one. It is by Brandon, also known as Mercari.poetry on
Yeah.
Instagram. And Brandon wrote Amorous Entanglement. A knock on the door. She invites me in, both anticipating our next moment of carnal sin. With difficulty breaking the bonds of our lips, she directs me to the bed as she begins to strip, loaded with passion, needing to hold and feel. She crawls closer, stopping at a seductive kneel. Eyes fixed, she lures me closer to the edge, but instead I gracefully pull her onto the bed. Caressing, holding, kissing, our bodies interwoven, intense cess with hot, steamy skin on skin motion. Face to face, hearts racing, dripping with lustful sweat. Coitus is in the air, and everything is so warm and wet. With delightful moans, for both the apex is reached, we remained embraced comfortably under the sheets. Ooh, how rhythmic was that, Angelique?
I just love it when you emphasize words that you like and
That
take me off guard.
is
Yes.
so. That is
Brandon,
just, oh, that makes me warm inside. Soon.
I should have brought my fan. Um, I almost did. I
Oh,
almost did just
God,
because of
right?
prompt, and then it's like, no, don't do
On.
that, Angel. Sookie says very hot. Nadine says deliciously
Oh,
written. They're like, oh,
so good, so good. Oh,
fire. I
wow.
like the way that he. I like the way that he starts. I mean, he describes it right. She's slinking across the floor, like coming for you. He's like, no, no, baby, come here.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In 14 lines, it goes from a knock on the door to kapow. Woo!
So
Ah,
it's official.
oh,
It takes 14 knocks to get to the center of Kapow.
kapow! Oh, Mercari, that poetry, that was delightful.
It's very nice, Brandon. Yes.
Mm. And then that title, Amorous Entanglement.
Amazing. Entanglement. Right? Delicious title. You see that title and you're like, what is
Oh,
this? It's
unbelievable.
like
Oh,
one of those romance books that you stole from your mother in the
right.
70s, 80s.
I didn't used
Amorous
to steal them. I used
Entangled.
to go to the library. I was addicted to those romance novels.
The pirate ones? Please.
Oh, and the castle ones. He was a Dutch, a duke. She was the Duchess, and
Or the
this.
time travel?
Oh, it was wonderful, wonderful.
Quite
Those
nice.
love.
Oh, the days. This
Um,
is what this was, but this is really beautiful, Brandon. And I like the way he builds even with his words, because even though he starts with the anticipating and carnal, the deeper he goes, the more the words become even more sensual.
yes,
Um, so he's not just building the scene in your mind; he's heightening the words, and that's very smartly crafted. He's
yes.
like, I know that I'm talking to women here.
This increment in their salaciousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Yes, I'm gonna be using that word a lot. Salacious.
Salaciousness. We
Ah,
like our apples. So thank you, Brandon.
and what's
And next we have someone I've never read before, and I don't really know who this
I
person is.
I do not recognize Miss Emily O'Neill, and neither do I.
Mm. Miss Emily O'Neill at EO2 Inspire for You. She sent it to me, and
That's wonderful.
that's exciting. I love getting poetry from people I haven't read before, and so thank you, Emily. And she wrote, "Breaking out free from the madness, running thoughts circling inside, questions, dreams invade the deepest dimension, mind stirring out of control." Reincarnated inclinations spiral heavy in near my vicinity. Between safe spaces and uncomfortable places, I'm condemning myself in irrationality and confusion. The insatiability is wasting away all my senses. I cannot see what lies beneath the surface. Noises haunt the deafening quietness, restrained voices place captive. No holding on to what is real or imagined. Pungent odors traveling within the atmosphere. I am unable to breathe. It is sickening to the soul. Embroiled perceptions snare brutal rage. The terrorizing fears consume the mind, the body, and the spirit. Wandering souls vanish from chaotic distress. Movable convulsions alter the troublesome burden. Break out free from the madness, bleeding hysteria. I actually really love this a lot because she captured hysteria for one, and she captured so many points of hysteria throughout it.
The darkness
Even,
of it all, that we can go
yes,
through all of these hormonal imbalances that we as women um, experience. But it's, as she says, wandering souls vanish from chaotic distress. The chaotic distress doesn't vanish, really, not until the body says it's okay, you're done, you're done. But
the movable convulsions alter the troublesome burden. She's
yeah,
very smart in the wording, and she goes through and everything, even from the no holding on to what is real or imagined, pungent odors, because they used to.
yes,
Uh, the pungent odors traveling within the atmosphere. But I like the way she does it from the very beginning, where questioned dreams invade the deepest dimension, mind stirring out of control, reincarnated inclinations spiral heavy in near my vicinity. So the wordplay there lets you go in many different directions if you want to, while still holding on to that center hysteria definition. And that's really intelligent writing.
because she didn't release the hysteria. Here she's talking about the darkness of it all
Yeah.
that that we as women can go through. These type of feelings, these type of emotions, and
Confusion.
and giving them their right to be. It's not an illusion. This is what happens at times, and
Yeah.
for a very long time. It lasts a long time. Hot flashes last so long. They last so long.
Mhm. They do.
They
I
drive
like that.
mad. Insomnia. It lasts so long. And you're driven. That in itself drives you mad. The lack of sleep.
It does. And I like the way that she's building up that need and that hunger, line by line, condemning myself in irrationality and confusion. Why am I feeling this way? What is this? To the insatiability is wasting away all my senses. And it does. It gets inside you, and you're craving and aching and needing, like needing. It's not wanting, it's literal. I need this to stop. And she's building that. I cannot see what lies beneath the surface. noises haunt the deafening quietness. I mean, she's just line by line building every sensory aspect of that until she gets to that end of movable convulsions after the troublesome burden, breaking out free from the madness, fleeting hysteric. I had an orgasm, or three, or five, or seven.
And
And
we just read your piece just now.
hi, Emily.
And
Thank
look,
you so
oh
much for
Lord,
writing.
he was in the other link waiting for us for nearly an hour.
Oh no, hi, Overlord.
I hope, Lord.
And Suki says, very well done, Emily. Oh, Emily, I love the way that you described this line after line because, and what, like I said, what I really like about it is yes, we can go down this insatiably hungry, hormonal, needy drive, but it can be taken in other directions too. You really ask the reader to pause and think and place themselves within your words. And I love that. If Leslie was on Instagram, she'd be going, heart,
I know.
heart,
And it will
heart.
be hearts, hearts, or confetti, confetti.
Confetti. Yes. So thank you so much for writing to us. I hope to read you again. This is amazing.
This was amazing, amazing. So this was at probably 45 minutes in that we started reading your poem. In case
I
you,
think she read it. I think she
uh,
heard it.
in case I don't think she heard it.
Well, she said she did. She said, thank you for the lovely read and great interpretation.
Oh,
Heart.
did hear it. Awesome. Ah, oh, I'm so happy. And now I have one of my
Thank you.
beloved people on
Oh no.
who has been a sis of mine. We call each other sis because we have been on IG since way in 2014, 2015 when we first met. And then we were part of, we had built uh, a niche group of ladies and we called ourselves the Erratic Badass Club Ladies. Oh, and we would write and write and write some wonderful things. Yeah, 2014ish. Yes. And
Oh,
so,
Nadine.
and so I kept this in my archives when she was at that time giving a giveaway of some of her poetry. And of course, I entered it by posting one of my favorites of hers. And she is called at Wild Cherry 69 dot my heart in words on IG.
Not for tonight, Pradipta, but for next time. For next time.
Because we wouldn't be able to put it exactly into the feed so that we can see
Yeah.
it. It won't show up big on our screen. We both
Yeah.
have the need for glasses, so it's difficult
Okay. I
for us.
can get through this one. Oh, Nadine, this one.
Ah,
Okay.
here we go. Here we go. And especially since it's very feline like.
Well,
Mm.
are you changing? Are you doing the original, or did you go through like you said? I'm preparing myself.
Oh no, it's the original original.
Whew, okay. Okay.
Here we go.
I apologize for my blushing. Here we
Here
go.
we Pussycat, Pussycat, where have you been? Why, I've been to London to visit the king. The king? I thought you saw the queen. I did see the queen, but I was invited by the king. Why, Pussycat, how did you have such luck? It was easy, really. He asked me there to fuck. He kissed me and cuddled and played with my fur. And then he licked at my jewel till he made me purr. Oh, pussycat, pussycat, what did you do then? Oh, please, fair maiden, you know I'm no prude. I showed His Royal Highness my most wonderful tricks. Marvelously easy, really. He's got such a handsome dick. Huh? I sucked it and licked it and rode it until he was sore. But that damn King's insatiable. He kept asking me for more. So I made him an offer no red-blooded man could ever pass up. I swished around on my knees and gave him my to fuck. He loved it, and so did I. He said I was his favorite girl. Made me promise to return and gifted me priceless pearls. Oh, pussycat, pussycat, what of Her Royal Highness the Queen? My dear, your queen's the biggest of all the royal freaks. For when the king was done, she requested my pussy to eat. Oh, that just gives me all the feels, Nadine. Oh, hey, you pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? Oh, oh, be still my
You're
heart.
reading, Leslie.
Oh, that was delicious, wasn't it? Oh,
Blush.
Nadine, she says she's blushing harder than you, Angelique. That's a lie. You wrote it.
I could write something that would make me blush really hard too if you were to read it, Leslie. So I believe her. I believe her. It's your reading. Your reading was fire. Yes, absolutely, Nadine. Perdita says amazing storytelling and the perfect ending. Um,
Wasn't it delightful? For when
it
the
was. I
king
like how she's.
done, she requested my pussy to eat. Such a wonderful wordplay. Because here you are thinking at the very beginning that this is going to be a little fairy tale.
Oh no! As soon as I read that first line, I knew I was in trouble because I
Right.
saw
I've been
Nadine's
to
name.
London to visit the king. So you're like in a, ah, thinking everything is fine.
No, I thought as soon as I read that first line when you sent it to me and I saw the picture, I saw the picture. Oh, the picture gives away a lot.
Oh,
And
the
then I knew it was from Nadine and I read Pussycat, Pussycat, where have you been? And I went, oh, I'm gonna blush so bad, prepare for it. That's what I knew. Suki says your reading was amazing, and I'm blushing big time. Really well written. Yes, it's gorgeously written, and Leslie, you read it phenomenally. Clearly, Leslie, do you blush? Do you ever blush? Do you get the blushes? What do we
no,
must do to make you blush?
not with things like this, really. Um, I don't know. I guess to me, I don't. The only thing that has ever made me blush, and is out, it has been out of disgust. It is 120 Days of Saddam by the Marquis de Sade.
That
That's
made you
a book.
blush?
Uh, that's a book that I could not finish reading.
Well,
If there was ever a book that intrigued me, that took me there, that I had to push myself to actually even try to attempt to finish it because it is wonderfully written, and it is but goes beyond erotica. It goes into sadistic killings,
yes,
all for the pleasure of the elite.
yeah.
So it's a satirical novel in a sense about that type of society and what they're capable of doing if given the power, and how they used women, boys, anything that they could get
Anyone?
on.
Yeah.
But I that was a book that literally took it to such a level that I was like, oh my God, is this possible? Um, and I guess the blushing part is I was boiling from, oh
Mm.
God, this really does happen. Because if you if it's in his head, the one who wrote this, it's not just fantasy. This is a fantasy
No.
that actually does happen. And then it makes you go and investigate things of that nature.
But
The,
is there anything
the
that makes you blush shyly, not in outrage or horror, but shyly?
There are ways to tell a woman that she's beautiful without saying the words "you're beautiful" that have sometimes been said to me that have made me blush.
The intimacy.
Yeah. At inopportune times, I could have been uh, on the train, uh, at work sometimes, and just out of the blue, they say something about my demeanor or my comportment or whatever the case might be. And it's so unexpected. That's when I blush.
That's
Uh,
beautiful.
this does not make me blush.
That's I don't know how. I don't know how. And Pradipta is thanking you and saying it's a delicious Saturday morning here. And Nadine says, thanks, guys. I don't know who that person is anymore. Hardcore blushing. Leslie, you made it so fun.
Oh, wait till you hear
Explosively so.
one, because she has another luscious one coming.
She does. She does. She does. But this was I do like the way that you took us on that the teasing escapade of what a pussycat, where have you been? Well, if you went to see the king and queen, I mean that is probably what would occur within the court, and you did not hide back, shy away from that.
Exactly. You were invited by the king.
Yes, invited by the
Into
king.
the
That
king
was really nice.
first. Ah,
Next, to to cool things down a little bit before we overheat,
yes.
um, we have Brandimer Bob SXYZ, both on YouTube and on Instagram. And if you want to hear him reading some of his incredible sonnets or singing some of the songs that he writes,
Oh,
look at his YouTube channel.
oh, I'm gonna follow him.
Yes, he's got a lot on his YouTube channel. And so this is Randomer Bob SXYZ, The Wonder of the Uterus. How can you tell that Indiana Jones hasn't got a womb? It's that whenever he's in some flame-lit, cobwebbed catacomb looking to daringly de-treasure some exotic secret tomb, and Mr. Spielberg throws him a jump scare designed to make those in the cinema seats freak, let alone let out a girly scream, Indy doesn't even squeak. Just a flicker of his eyebrows above his serious screen eyes is all the acting required for Mr. Ford to show us his surprise. At the death mask grinning mummy trapdoor dropped before his face, for all we know, screaming is unmanly. Men who do it shame disgrace. Which is odd, because this highly evolved distress call is an involuntary act required to aid the survival of the family, tribe, or pack. To clearly warm off falling trees or rocks or predator attack in a way so unambiguous that adrenaline is triggered, but movie mouths can override this. I guess that somehow they have it figured that the rest of us aren't worthy of that fight flight warning chance, that we're all some dead weight burden they don't need us to advance. But if Indiana's forebears had mutated to switch off that screaming gene, A mounting count of unwarned deaths amongst their family branch would soon be seen, meaning they wouldn't even make it to the Stone Age, let alone the silver screen. But those ancient Greeks we still revere as high achieving geeks wrote that the difference between the sexes went beyond their mere physiques and coined the word hysteria from the Greek word hystera, meaning uterus, to describe ungovernable female emotions. So the concept isn't new to us that men should be stonily stoic and silently heroic in their firm features, while women are unfathomably emotional, such vulnerable, soft creatures. And men of science subscribe to this for 3 millennia up to and past Freud. And though it's academically discredited now, the world, though it's academically discredited now, the word and culture remain both undestroyed living on in all our attitudes by movie makers buoyed. Yes, though reason and logic are undoing once bad sciences, it's harder by far to defeat within reason our society's dumb biases.
Preach, preach,
Yes,
speak.
Bob said to me after seeing what the caption of our hysteria prompt was, he said, I don't know if I can empathize with wandering or wondering womb or uterus. And I said, well, he goes, but, and then I challenged him to write about it anyway. and and this is the marvelous thing we got. Uh, and Pradita says, thank you for the education for making women blush.
Ah, yeah.
My pleasure, Pradita.
Ah,
I love this because not only is it witty and snarky, but it's educational too, and that's pretty much Bob's poetry all rolled up in a nutshell, isn't it? Witty, rhythmic, snarky, and educational.
I love the way that he truly does phrase it, that to describe ungovernable female emotions, because
Yes,
you can't control them.
yes.
There's no way
And
to
I,
control a hot flash. There's no way to control uh your emotions when when your your brain is just going bonkers with mixed things going through. And yeah, you have your ups, you have your downs, and but even though these feelings are known to have their validity, known to have um, a medical reason behind them, the bias still exists against it. You
it
know,
does.
clearly, I love the how he hits it in the head. It's harder by far to defeat with reason our society's dumb biases.
Dumb biases. And I like how he starts it from the beginning because he brings in Indiana Jones, the great adventurer, logical man who escapes all these horrific traps and possible death. And he describes how utterly and completely ridiculous it is because there is not a single man on this planet that would behave that way unless so well trained and constantly training to not panic and not get scared and scream or anything in those situations, to be able to be in situations like that and not freak out, you have to train for that again and again and again, constantly, so that your brain knows don't panic. Because you're
But
still panicking, but you're working it through because you've been taught this is how I work through this. This is how I do this. This is how I do that. And archaeologist is not going to know how to do that in those kind of situations. It's just not going to happen.
well, it, look at the difference between this word and hysteria. Midlife crisis. Who gets coined that term? That
That's
is
true.
so much better, isn't it?
Hmm.
Midlife crisis, not hysteria, you know?
Does that mean we can go out and buy cars too?
You know,
I look good in a Corvette.
I look good in a Corvette. I mean, so it's not only women that go through a change in life, the men do as well because they
Yes, they
experience
do.
the, their their experience of decrease in libido is even more apparent and more hurtful to them than it is to us as women. They they go all out. The pharmaceutical people have invested so much time into not letting men go through the
Yeah, but that's not always a libido decrease. That can have to do a lot with blood pressure as well. There's varying reasons for that. But yeah, they do go all out in trying to fix
exactly,
um, the
so
issues.
um and get medications meantime, medications to fix that situation, whereas for us is immediately wanting to put us into antidepressants, and I don't do that.
Hormones, things. There's I think that medicine, if you're in an area where doctors are knowledgeable and are trying to stay up on anatomy, um, I think that even in the last 5 years, every 5 years, I think there's some pretty major leaps and bounds, but it does matter where you're located and how educated your doctors are in in that. And I think having the correct doctor makes a big difference um, on what the prescriptions and how such things are looked at, probably. I don't want to
Generalize
put it
things.
off generalized because I think that's dangerous in this particular case because it is a highly sensitive subject for both men and women.
Yes,
And
definitely.
like you said, and like you said, women have to kind of deal with it and are expected to kind of deal with it quietly, whereas men don't like to talk about it, and it can cause dysfunction in relationships because there's self-confidence issues that arise, and no talking about it and communicating on it can really um, become a problem. But
The
it's also important to know that the center of the universe in sexuality is not it's not around the cock, and whether those things are occurring or not, whether you're in a female female or male female, in this case a male female or male male relationship, um, whether your cock functions or not, it's not a necessity for a healthy sex life or intimacy. And that needs to be said more often so that people become comfortable with that. And if your woman loves you or your man loves you and they're attracted to you, that is something they will help you navigate. And y'all will navigate it together and
with
healthily and beautifully and eagerly.
with hope.
Yes, yes.
And
And um, Nadine said that is an awesome piece. And Tommy says, hello, ladies. Hello, Tommy. And
I,
Suki says, I enjoyed that. Very well written. And everybody's saying hi to Tommy.
okay. So
Thank
the
you, Bob.
thank you, Bob. The next one is me. Here we go.
It's you.
Uh this was from way back, way back, way back when. Um, and I reworked it a bit and brought it forth back again. It's called Lipsticks and Illusions. Lipstick and Illusions. You called it hysteria. I knew it was more than that, but nothing is more exciting than a tit for tact. Your message was clear. Meet me at 8 at the MO bar. Role play had commenced. New dress, I needed to look like a star. I stopped by La Perla. Something exciting, spectacular. Rushing home, bathed, perfumed, dressed, minimal makeup, but knew that matte red lipstick I needed to wear. The car was waiting, my legs trembling. I would see you there. A delightful illusion, a one night stand fantasy, strangers meeting at a bar. I walked in, asked for a martini, and you watched as a man sat at the stool next to mine. You got up, sat on the other side, and told a man to take a hike. We talked for a while, getting to know each other's new characters. You paid, we left, and in the elevator, you kissed me, opened my legs, and with the smoothest pelvic massage, you whispered, "Hello, stranger." Mm-mm.
Note to self, Leslie likes some little role play. Okay.
I do love role play. My cat turned off my lights. Of course he did. He's looking for
And
love.
and Nadine says, it has been such a pleasure listening to you banter and wonderful poems. Sadly, I have to dip out. Wishing everyone a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us
Uh,
and for writing, Nadine.
everyone that's in the room, that is Nadine's, which we will be reading very shortly at the end of the show as well. So remember who that is. That is Wild Cherry 69.
So follow her.
Garden Words at
Yes.
Instagram.
Whew,
Look her up.
Leslie.
Love her writing.
I
Ah,
think that you beautifully wrote out a fantasy that many people wish they could role play, and other people actually do carry out and role play. It's a, yeah,
role play is a lot of fun.
it
It,
is. It
it brings
livens things
a lot
up.
of energy into a relationship when you do, especially little things like this, you know.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
fun flirtation.
yes, it is, and you really don't have to go on a vacation.
No.
Fun, and you don't need to have a vacation to have a beautiful night in a gorgeous midtown hotel and have fun,
Yes.
know? And champagne and everything.
And
It's
what you described in your poem is one of is a very popular recommendation for couples who are wanting to spice things up or insert a little fun or insert a little adventure. It's a safe way to do so. It's a way where both people can be comfortable and that comfort level is easily controlled. And it allows each person to flirt more freely than maybe they've grown comfortable in. It brings a little bit of sassiness into the relationship because neither person knows what the other one's going to say.
correct.
They don't know what character they've donned to be that night, and so it's just a little fun. And I think you described it really well for anybody who hasn't done it, who might be feeling it. Go read Leslie's poem. She takes you 101 how to go through it.
It's fun to go through and experience things like that because as you said, you only know the time in which you're going to meet and where.
Yes. You
But
don't know what the
it
other
is
person's wearing.
you don't
You
know
don't know what they have in
anything
mind.
else has been said. It's just you're going to meet me here, and that's all there is to it. And oh, wow, once you experience that and you already know that it is going to be role play that is going to take place. And it's fabulous. It messes around with your insides and makes you all gooey gooey.
And it doesn't have to be the man coming up and hitting on the woman, or depending upon how the relationship normally goes. Again, be it man, woman, 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 man, man. Whoever is usually somewhat in control or totally in control of that race, because there are power plays in all relationships, nobody what anybody says. Um, you can go the opposite direction. You can take it any way you want to on that, and just have fun with it. And so that enables that freedom, to do that for people, because maybe they're a little shy or a little embarrassed to do so in their engagement normally. But this allows that subtle exploration
Oh yeah,
to hint at and then build and see where it goes.
definitely. There's always room
Really nice, Leslie.
for exploration. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So you're gonna get people thrown in jail in the elevator. Those things have cameras, you know.
Yes, they do have cameras, but
Yeah.
it was just a tiny little pelvic massage.
Yeah. And Sookie says, "Wow, Leslie, that had me intrigued." And Tommy says, "Fire."
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And so
Good.
next we have one of mine, and it's called Punctuated Rewards. His arrival is never a second late, smiling nonchalantly, but eager none the same. Amused eyes sparkle in heady refrain, our tongue-twisting spirits lifting off to other planes. We accelerate, recalibrate, discombobulate expectation, communicate, investigate, articulate transformation. We demonstrate, celebrate, invigorate observation, appreciate, initiate, elaborate inspiration. Hysteria notwithstanding, tangled limbs and twisted sheets, motivations comprehending all the need that drives new feeds. Expansive our discoveries, delivered quite discreet. My phantom lover never tarries in turning up the heat.
Angelique, Angelique, and you take us on another realm because basically here the lover doesn't even exist.
I had to write something to Sheba.
It's unbelievable, unbelievable, and
Thank you.
the the rhythm of these is just. I mean, we accelerate, we calibrate, discombobulate expectation, communicate, investigate, articulate transformation. We demonstrate, celebrate, invigorate observation. And then you continue, appreciate, initiate, elaborate, inspiration. And Suki says that was wonderful. Love that. Yes, indeed,
Thank
it's
you, Sophie.
just gorgeous. And then the way that you describe the feeling of love making without it actually happening because it's a phantom at the end, but tangled limbs and twisted sheets. Ah, and then there's nobody there at the end. And I'm like, what happened? What happened?
Well, it's like you were describing earlier, if you need to, and that can be as exciting or unexciting as you want it to be.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And it's like, oh, that's why I love your writing. You take us to and this is a good example of a writer incrementing and incrementing and incrementing on that need, on that feeling of hysteria, and then at the end it's just you end with, okay, my
Thank
phantom
you.
varies and turning up the heat.
Well, we talked
It's that
about we talked
phantom.
about how a woman knows her body and she can get
Yes,
there in 30 seconds or 5 minutes, whichever she wants, but it's not late. So I just played
I
on it.
know. I know. It's
Thank you.
So wonderful. Mr. Loverman Shabba. Oh, that's so.
Tommy says, wonderfully flowing passion. Thank you, Tommy.
Oh,
And
thank.
Emily says, hello, Tommy. Thank you, Leslie.
Wow.
It's a
Whew.
fun prompt to write to.
Yes, it is. And our wonderful blue at broken blue.
I just had a realization.
What?
I haven't been writing the times down. I'm going to have to go back and watch it and write the times. Oh, okay.
Broken blue pen. Broken underscore blue underscore pen. And his poem is Of Pocket Bacon.
That's sexy. Well, some people would say that's very sexy. Thank you, Emily.
Oh, here we go. Broken vessel becomes a lightning rod. Energy surge sparks the rhythmic pump into a frenzy. Exaggerated heartbeat knocks the restless rust from dormant love. It happened in a reflection, one that glimmered hope. In her eyes sparkle, and we two knew this night would not find dawn without first exposing its rapture. Leopard lost background noise, hysteria's magical takeover, orchestrated the dance of candlelit shadows silhouetted on the wall. Witness the hysterical softness as they try to become one. Intertwined energies merge. I swallowed the excited breath as it crosses her seductive lips. Its secret escape is foiled as I breathe it in, her expelled life becoming part of me, that I might give her more. In every beat of my heart, I find some new part of me that she exposes. In translation, my kisses, soft, firm, tell her that I'm committed to her satisfaction. Her giggle reassures my exploration is moving along the right path. Gratification, not demarcated by inhibitions, on through the night. We two lovers pursue a new level of connection, restless animals trying to devour each other. Morning is fast approaching. Would not find one of us incomplete, alone, vulnerable, or exposed. Because in the morning, sun, we will not slow, becoming one, still the goal.
Whew,
Bro,
blue.
blue, a whole entire night, all through the
And,
night, and in the morning, we're not stopping there either.
and Emily says, sensual piece. And Tommy says, nicely written, blue. Do you know what I like about this one, Leslie?
Go
I'll tell
ahead.
you. Other than, I mean, the hysteria, because he played on Def Leppard's Hysteria, because we had that. He played on that with the dancing. But I really liked where he said, I swallow the excited breath as it crosses her seductive lips. Its secret escape is foiled as I breathe it in. And anybody who has been in that intimate way with someone where you're literally breathing in each other's breaths and your lips are that he thought to include that and capture that, I think really builds and adds upon that to becoming one thing.
Yes, indeed. Uh,
Beautiful.
he really does have a way with words, and you know, I love his play on not only the hysteria of and then putting leopard lust
Yes.
in there, and then I believe that I believe there's also a play in the tell her that I'm committed to her giggle via smart smart no longer her demarcated by innocent business. On Through the Night is another song.
Yes, it is. It
And
is.
I
Restless Animals as well, isn't it?
ah,
Restless Animals, isn't that a song? Or,
so he's playing here with
yeah.
different titles and arrives at such a rich and beautiful poem. It's delightful,
And
truly.
Blue does that in all his poems. You don't notice them unless you're really looking for it because it's so subtly woven in. But
Hmm.
he twists his poems and he has so much underwritten in every single poem that he writes. But because of how he writes them, I don't think most people go, oh, oh. But his poetry is actually extremely clever in in everything he manages to meld together within the poems. You just have to read it
Yeah.
slowly. Um, and Suki says very fire blue, very fire. What's your favorite part?
The title, more than anything else,
I gotta ask you what that title's all about of pocket bacon. What's
because the broken vessel becomes a lightning rod. He says it right at the beginning.
oh oh well I didn't think about that
So
as
the handle
oh see
is
I didn't get it. Yeah, I get it now.
in its flaccid state, and so
I get it now. I just didn't get it to begin with.
so very very subtle, but it's such a nice way to put it. uh but the way that he takes us through everything, but it's like it's that of pocket bacon is so catchy. That double entendre is just unbelievable, unbelievable, you know.
It's very nice.
Are you blushing?
Your excitement just burns me up, Leslie.
Ah, it's so
That's what we're gonna
wonderful.
go with.
It's so wonderful. I'm telling you, love it.
And next we have Suki, uh,
Yay!
Dreams in Color Poetry, and hers is called Novel. Oh, Tommy says it is also a nice way to attract people,
To a,
to attract a poodle. What?
if you have those little bacon beats, the bacon bits in your pocket, you know those little treats,
Oh, I'm a
bacon,
cat girl,
bacon, bacon.
not a puppy girl.
Well, there's these doggy treats called bacon bits. And if you have them in your pocket, it really is a way to attract them. So Tommy is just taking it into a
Yes,
whimsy state.
Tommy's doing
Oh,
Tommy.
Suki goes, it's time for PG-13.
So this is
Oh,
Suki, Dreams in Color Poetry, and it's called Novel. I have a fever of the worst kind, sweat on my brow caused by a fiery mind, seducing my eyes with each description, soaking up his words with rapt attention, hunger after the next paragraph written, holding the book tightly, I'm curled up like a kitten, in the perfect position to be held. If in his arms I'd surely melt. I have a fever of the worst kind. Sweat on my brow accused, sweat on my brow caused by a fiery mind. If I could, I'd bare my claws to scratch him a little. I'd open my mouth just for a nibble. My rough little tongue running across his skin, these imaginings raise my temperature again. I have a fever of the worst kind, sweat on my brow caused by a fiery mind. There's no easy answer to this affliction. This man has become my addiction. Looking at his face on the author's page sends my body into a sensual rage. I have a fever of the worst kind, sweat on my brow caused by a fiery mind. Is this hysteria creeping in? The naughty nuances of his words so perfectly penned. My untamed desire may never end. To my hunger I must attend. I have a fever of the worst kind, sweat on my brow caused by a fiery mind. Woo, Sookie, that refrain.
Ah, what a wonderful way to describe
Ooh, yes,
sapiosexuality.
yes.
Oh my God. Swooning for in knowledge and wanting intelligence. Mm.
Tommy says, gorgeous writing, Purple Heart's elegant refrain. It is. I love the way she builds it up through each stanza. And there are some authors, you're reading them and you're just like, oh,
Yes.
your mind. Meow. Yes.
That's how I feel
Gorgeous, Sookie.
about Baudelaire. There's no other for me. I mean, I sleep with his book. It doesn't matter to me. It's right there always. It's my companion, you know, and it's some it's like it decorates my bed, and I'm
I have
not
not found that yet. I will find it one day. That's my goal. That's what, ooh, that would be a nice goal, wouldn't it?
to find an author that you love
That
that.
would, that much. But then you get to sleep with both him and his book.
Oh my God! What? Well, mine is dead.
Yes, I'm going to go for at least an undead one. Suki says, thank you. What a great reading. Thank you, Suki. Thank you for writing. I
You
love
it was
this. Love
us. I'm like, mine is dead.
this. Not mine. I don't do dead. Zombies, gross.
Uh,
Vampires.
yeah.
Could work with that. This is great. I love it though. But I do. I like the way not just the refrain, but the way that it builds each stanza, and then that refrain is just like um, a soft, breathless pause between it. It's like, oh, I'm feeling it, and then the refrain hits to just kind of accentuate that, and then it builds higher and higher. I really like that.
And then you don't. Once again, um, it's like it's it's the suspense built just like you did with yours. That this person is actually, she builds and builds and builds, and then all of a sudden you find out it's not all the way at the end, but very close to the end.
Yeah.
Basically, she's talking about somebody that is the author of a book she's reading.
Well, she's talking about that from the beginning because she says, one, it's called novel, but then that first stanza after the refrain, seducing my eyes with each description, soaking up his words with rapt attention, hunger after the next paragraph written, holding the book tightly, I'm curled up like a kitten in the perfect position to be held. If in his arms, I'd surely melt. And I don't know about you, but I have spent plenty of nights getting zero sleep before work the next day or school the next day, reading a very long book just because the description and the words are so
But
perfect.
that here, I thought at the very beginning of the of her poem, it was a person next to her as she's reading,
Ah,
because
now I
she's
pictured the book the whole time.
in the and in his arms I'll surely melt. I thought they were already there with her as she was
Nope.
reading the book. So That's how she built up that sweat on my brow caused by a fiery mind. But then she clearly displays this is a person that she's actually reading about. It made Stephen blush and ask me not to put it on my page.
Poor Stephen.
Oh
Oh,
no!
no.
Well, you
I
should.
love it. You should. This is amazing. Your rhythm, mwah, your rhyme. Oh, you've gotten so good with your rhyming and rhythm lately. It just makes me giddy to read your poetry.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Uh,
Love it.
so now we're going to read The Nature of Ash.
Yes.
9542. There's no title to the piece. This is at the nature underscore of Ash. She swore it wasn't her. I'm pretty sure it wasn't me. Although sometimes in those frenzied moments, no one knows all the words to the song they sing. We debrief due to the eeriness of it all. Not a wail, not a quiet howl, surely not something beyond the cave wall. We'd even entertain the notion of it being a screech owl. I can say all I know for certain. It was a Tuesday. I'd taken the trash to the road right out in front of our cozy, humble abode. That day, it wasn't raining. Enjoying the pond song, fingers loosely linked, we passed the barber's shop, bullfrog's bass and baritone, me humming along, helping to keep their doo-wop in time. A self-proclaimed responsibility that I took quite seriously. Of mine, it was of course my best distraction, to keep from grinning like a fool. No kid, no rain, passing the pond, mint and lavender oil to keep skeeters away. I knew what we were going to do. I loved the way she breathed in my kisses. We were getting closer and closer to the spot. Temperature dropped 5 degrees in a subtle dank breeze of deliciousness. Beneath, just enough sun and shade from the elm, not to mention the cave down below. Chartreuse was the moss of another realm, more inviting than any I've come to know. Fingernails dug into the earth, finding the fissures we'd both come to know well, allowing the world to fall away. I let myself loose in her spell. The only distraction to the moss that a day on that outcropping, accompanied by the creek below, blues behind us fell away to gold, then purple. Time stood still as if we were moving to the ancient heartbeat of the cave below. Liquid hysteria held me captive. I couldn't stop, not even to be startled by the sound which normally would have caused me caution. That night, the earth, the moss, the moon, and creek below begged me to consume the offering I had brought to the altar. Animalistic and feverishly famished, I imbibed without falter, quenching greedily her moans and arching. Wet levitation knew no fatigue. My temples pounded drums of lifetimes, each of her breaths a century. But there were 3 voices, we both heard it, lying on our backs, cradling one another, cradled by the chartreuse moss, splayed across the witch stable, pulses still racing with the ancient heart of the cave stone. We heard it echo on after our dancing ceased. Oh, I believe she called this the witch's table.
I was going to say, for one, this tells us what the witch's table is that we had the discussion on before.
Mm-hmm. This one definitely tells us what the witch's table is.
Yes. And you're
I,
welcome, Silky. Tommy says, lovely writing, Ash.
it's actually
Yes.
making love al fresco.
Yes, she beautifully describes what it must be like for a couple with a child to get away for a moment. They're sneaking out and having a little bit of time by themselves in the woods down by the cave where they like to have time with
Mhm.
themselves and that giddiness and the prep as they're going the description between humming to the bullfrog's bass and baritone to the scent of the lavender and mint to keep the skeeters away. I mean, she's taking us on that journey of all those thoughts and processes that are going through the mind as they eagerly make their way there, even though it ends up being a little bit of a ghost story at the end. Um, she takes us there.
Yeah. I love the simplicity of it all because it's not even what's described as it happened, and it happened sort of perchance in a sense, like it.
Yeah,
And the way that she goes on to describe, all I know for certain, it was a Tuesday, and then takes us further. Basically, I had
yeah,
in the trash, you know, right out of the cozy, humble abode that day. It wasn't raining. Just the
yeah.
act of the fact that it wasn't raining, that's what I think sparked it all. Okay, let's go.
Yes, yes. Let's go. And
Let's go.
that's how it is, isn't it? We've got this chance.
Yeah,
We've got this
we got
this
this chance.
opportunity.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And so,
Uh,
with hands entwined, that no kid, no rain, passing the pond, it's let's go. Let's do it.
And
Let's enjoy
and
ourselves.
then like and then like Suki says, wow, when you see colors, you know it's good. Then as she continues and she takes us there, going from fingers dug into the earth to her moans and arcing, wet levitation. She's basically, saying we were desperate for it. We were all there, full on, eager, and that happens, doesn't it? If a couple isn't able to steal those moments, and they're getting that moment away from their child, sneaking out for that it is feverish and frantic and um, almost insatiable. And she describes that very well in the words that she's using. Liquid hysteria held me captive. I couldn't stop, not even when startled by that sound that normally would have had me on alert.
And
That's hormones and hunger fully taking over.
I think the moss is used as a metaphor for the female, because as soon as baby, stop fighting, babies.
I don't know. Ash is a very earthy person and she likes the woods a lot. I think she would be totally into the moss and the rocks and the wood
And
and the dirt.
the way she puts it here, listen to this. Not to mention the cave down below. Chartreuse was the moss of another realm, more inviting than any I've come to know. Fingernails dug into the earth, finding the fissures we've both come to know well. I'm wondering there if it's a metaphor for the act of going in with your fingers.
Maybe. I took it as because they're going down into that area and she loves the good mossy rock and trees. I literally took it as they've done this before many times and they know the places to grab. It could be both.
I'm just wondering if that is the case, because it's,
Ask her.
I am definitely going to ask her, because it's, yeah. I'm going to ask.
You could be totally right. I totally go to the nature place just because I know nature is everything to her. So I imagine somebody, well, I know somebody who loves nature that much. Moss
finding
is quite lovely.
finding the fish it would both come to know well, allowing the world to fall away
Hmm.
of loose in her spell.
Rocks are quite lovely.
Instruction to the moss that day on that outcropping, accompanied by the creek below.
We'll have to ask her. Maybe
Because
she means it both.
it lasts all day long that they're there because the blues
The
fall away.
moss isn't going anywhere.
The moss isn't going anywhere. It's
The
still,
night, the earth, the moss, the moon, the creek below. She's describing this gorgeous, beautiful nature scene and giving us all the sensory details we need to drink it in.
yes. But I'm gonna
Nature
ask.
sex, Leslie. Have some.
Double.
It's great.
It's a double entendre.
Okay. It
Definitely.
might be. It
Yeah.
might be. Tell us, Ash. Tell us.
Yes. 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 Ash.
And next, we have, oh no, it started the time over again.
No, it's 106:30. So we're almost 2 hours in.
Well, mine can't be 106.30, but because before we started, I was up to 135.43.
I have it at 106 50 52 now.
That's so weird.
106
Um,
minutes we've been on.
Not according to mine.
Wow.
Well, I will be watching this back and getting the times
Oh, okay.
accurate for
It's
everybody.
9:48 if
So
that's
if
true. So, and we started at 8 o'clock.
so, we've been doing it for an hour and 48 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So it's about right, 100 and plus minutes.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
can actually do that.
we got to conversing about the poem. I forgot. Did you read Ashes or did I read Ashes?
You read Ashes. I'll figure it out because
Oh,
I didn't write the times down for the first one, so I'll just fast forward through and watch it back and get them. It'll be great. So next we have Mel at melrose.poetry18 or melrose underscore poetry 18, I believe. And oh, I don't have the title written down. I believe it's called A Sugary Screw. A taste that melts you into a dollop of whipped cream. Straight into hysteria, you scream everything inside of you. A sugary screw. Left undone with one lick, his sweetness cut to the quick. Straight into hysteria, he sent me, and it was long overdue. A sugary screw. Caught in a scent akin to a stolen, long denied touch. What a finish on the swollen lips. A taste that melts you. A sugary screw. Whew, now, Leslie is contemplating that double entendre.
uh-huh. Melts you into a dollop of whipped cream.
Yes.
That is a wonderful way to describe a woman's wetness. It
And
is
also the desire of left undone with one lick, his sweetness cut to the quick.
right.
So each licking upon each other.
Yes. Oh. And she finds it so sweet. What
Yes. And then the third line, caught in a scent akin to a stolen long denial touch. What a finish on the swollen lips.
yes. Which
Double entendre.
entendre there? Which lips?
Yes.
Definitely
Very nice. Very nice smell.
gorgeous.
Um, and Tommy is giving hearts, and Suki is saying fire.
Fire.
Changing now.
And now we have the Overlord. I don't know if the Overlord is still here with us. VGHD writer. No title. The fire ignites within her eyes, wrestling with blame as gazes shift. Her truth entwined in fault lines that bleed. Frayed at the seams, they call her broken. A doctor's nod, a scent is laid. Whispers wrapped, aligning shame and fear. Labels stitch where silence should have been, as her laughter echoes something fierce. That is hysteria in a very short form.
Yes, but it also whispers wrapped, aligning shame and fear, and her truth entwined in fault lines that bleed. I think I think she's playing beyond the hysteria. Labels stitched where silence should have been. I read this more as, hey, Overlord. I read this more as, um,
Being a woman is a shame.
or having had sex and being caught or desiring it is a shame. Overlord, what did you mean by this? Suki says, I would like to hear it again. Would you mind?
They called her broken.
Yeah, read it again for Suki.
The fire ignites within her eyes, wrestling with blame as gazes shift. Her truth entwined in fault lines that bleed. So she has started bleeding. Frayed at the seams, they call her broken. A doctor's nod, a sentence laid. Whispers wrapped, aligning shame and fear. Labels stitched where silence should have been. As her laughter echoes something fierce.
Yeah, I read this as perhaps a loss of virginity during a time when it would get you judged, or, desire taken. Sometimes things go further.
Or of coming of age and
Yeah,
not being told as a woman
yeah,
what happens to you when you enter your menstrual cycle.
that's true too.
You
It
know?
could,
So I looked up
Overlord said, go
hysteria.
ahead.
There you go. Yeah. It's the meaning of hysteria. It says, I
I
look.
looked up the old time. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. You read it, baby.
I looked up the old time understanding of hysteria and used all the things I found. For instance, when a woman was diagnosed with hysteria, the doctors should put a floral scent by her face and vulva. And Suki says, wow, that's really powerful. It's written in a way that lets you draw quite a lot from it, depending upon what you read and want to draw from it. And I like that because it engages thought and conversation and lets you navigate all types of thought and introspection.
Space
And
being a woman. Being a woman was considered sickness. Being being who you are, and yeah, the way that you're considered crazy simply because you're feeling aroused, and normal feelings for women, and it was considered something that was not, something's not right with you. There was a lot of shame, yes, a lot of shame around virginity or lack thereof, and circumstances around it. Yeah, thank you, Overlord. I mean, when I first read it and I said, this is the definition of hysteria, and then it caused a discussion between Angelique and I, because she wasn't sort of getting at it that way. But I, so my first initial was
Yeah.
on the spot. But then if you look at it and truly go through everything, I love the way that you use that metaphor, fault lines that bleed.
Yes. That's why I thought it was something different,
That's
perhaps.
beautiful to consider our the inner parts of a woman as fault lines, because they we do tremor.
Yes.
Not only do we tremor with desire, but we tremor also with so much pain during that time of menstrual cycle. Some women, so much so that they need to be medicated, and they we go women go through so much. That womb of ours causes a lot of issues. But we also have to celebrate it, because it is out of that womb that it begets life, you know?
It does. It does. And they say the way they are considered crazy for simply having fire in their determination, arousal, anger, and all of the normal feelings. Yes, a lot of shame around virginity and lack thereof, and circumstances around it. Well understood. Can't hide anything in poetry with you ladies. We try. We
uh,
try. And I like the thought lines, like you mentioned, for that reason, and also with the double entendre of it being fault. Whose fault is it? Is it her fault for things? And then tripling it for whose fault if something did happen, because this can definitely read um, in both those directions with all the wordplay that they used throughout it.
yes, Overlord, you've written this beautifully.
Yes.
Beautiful. And now we have our wonderful Mike J. Dennis.
Mike. Yes.
Dennis
Let
5.
me write this down.
And Mike
And
at first didn't want, was like, how am I going to write about hysteria? I'm a man. In a sense.
I
But he
think you did
chose
quite
to.
well.
I'm just so happy that he did. So thank you, Mike. And Angelique will
Yes.
take it away for us. So
Oh,
thank you for
good
being
night,
here,
Suki. Thank you for being here
for so
and
long.
writing
You know, we do ramble on a lot.
a little bit. And
But thank
thank you for writing gorgeous poetry, gorgeous poem.
you. Thank you. We appreciate
So
you so much.
we
Say hi,
do.
even for us, please.
Yes. So this is Mike at Mike J. Dennis 5, both on YouTube and on Instagram. He has videos of himself reading his poetry on YouTube as well as on Instagram. And this is called Harmonious Hysteria. It's on the news where minds converge and stew, stirred upon hysteria's dance in shades of red or blue, a weaving all these souls as ripe corn they sway, ready for the reaping, devoid of truth they weigh. Their thoughts are a tinderbox in arid terrain, igniting embers upon receptive brains. With waving banners, they join the parade in foolish madness, a blind masquerade. Enchanting swarms, they cheer and hum to others' visions, lost to reason, succumb. Heartbeat fervor, it's the same old drum. In lies, the rhythm of lies becomes. Those metaphors a rich man's embrace, entune their song as a deliberate chase. Ideas that rocket high in the sky, with starstruck eyes, they reach so high. Beware the devil and this fugue-like trance. The mind's reason falters on this verbal dance. Harmonious hysteria has the truth distort. Minds together as your vote they court. And he wrote this before the election.
Yes, he did.
About exactly what freaking happened in the election.
Mass hysteria.
Yes,
Ah, I
I
love,
love
love
the
how he took this to a different level,
dark.
used hysteria, used
I
the
took it
word,
to a
but
real darkness.
dark place. Because we clearly said you could take hysteria to a dark place or to a sensual
Yes,
place, you know? And he took it to that dark place of what was happening at the time in modern society just a week ago, you know?
yes, and he made sure we knew what he's talking about. Ripe corn, they sway.
Oh,
I
and
mean, which that can have multiple meanings just in of itself, but it's definitely talking about the middle um, of America.
and just as
But
mine, stirred upon hysteria stands in shades of red and blue. Both
yes,
political parties at war um, with each other. And I just love the way Mike expresses himself. Their thoughts are a tinderbox in arid terrain.
igniting embers upon
Upon great.
receptive brains.
Come
Yeah.
on, come on, Mike.
To others' visions lost to reason succumb, heartbeat fervor, it's the same old drum.
And
It
then
lies, in lies the rhythm of lies
he
becomes.
calls us a swarm. He calls society a swarm. Enchanting swarms. They cheer and hum to others' visions. Lost to reason succumb. Oh,
The
come on.
metaphors as rich man's embrace, and tune their song as a deliberate chase. And that is so true because he makes it sound. He made it sound like y'all are reaching for this. Y'all are having to chase and go for this. He makes it sound like they're earning for it, fighting for something. And that's part of the trick. Every single thing about the campaign was just gorgeous spin and mind manipulation. I mean, it was playing
What
up the mob mentality in an exquisite way.
he knew the plugs to string and played US like a beautiful
Mhm.
guitar.
With starstruck eyes, they reach so high. And
Mm,
then I love, love, love the way he says, beware the devil in this fugue like trance, because so many of his followers constantly harp on that and constantly harp on how everybody else other than Trump, but they did not seem to acknowledge or hear or see. They made excuses for the horrible things that he would say.
yeah.
Excuses for it. These, yeah,
Hmm. Well, here we go.
harmonious hysteria has the truth distort. Minds together as your vote. They court.
Wow.
Really well done, Mike.
Thank you.
And
Thank
unfortunately, you predicted what
yeah, thank you.
happened.
Just bringing it to the forefront. And
Yes.
because, our prompts don't have to be sensual, they can also
No,
take us in whatever, take us wherever you want to, as long as you make us think,
make us
provoke
think.
us, provoke both of us who love talking to each other and talking on our lives and digesting beautiful words and meanings and being able to celebrate that we can see poetry in two different ways or in a myriad of ways depending on
Yes.
who in the room as well, and that we find ourselves questioning, is that what they thought? I'm wondering. And so if you do that to us, please
Ah,
continue to write for our
yes,
feline
please. Make
Fridays.
us purr. Give us something to bat about.
Oh, can't wait.
And Suki says you guys are perfect. Thank you,
Oh,
Suki.
Suki, it was a pleasure having you here for so long. And so now, although Nadine left the room, she had to go. um, This was one that she wrote very recently, and I immediately reached out to her. I was like, Nadine, 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 can I read this, Nadine? And all she did in the DM was cackle. Of course you can. Oh, so I was like, thank you, thank you. So she sent it in for us. It's called Ah Rousing. What a time.
I just got that.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I failed. I just got that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm disappointed in myself. Dang it.
Ah,
Ah.
rousing. The first light of morning breaks the spell of sensual dreams that have tempted and teased a wandering mind throughout the night, and limber fingers instinctively seek the sensitive bud of a dew covered rose between petals, luxuriously soft and warm to the touch. Sunlight breaches the blinds and golden rays cascade, casting a gentle warmth on my naked body, luxuriously draped across silken sheets that twist and bunch under limbs that crest and fall to the beat of an intimate rhythm, while the ambient sounds of gentle sighs and soft moans echo throughout the room. My succulent rose, she continues to bloom, and a mirrored reflection displays the erotic image of petals being plucked apart to expose a swollen bud drenched in its own dew. Ah, I am my own aphrodisiac, an aurora nymphette, in a body that tingles with pleasure, every inch from my hair to the soles of my feet. And I put on a show, a torrid affair for an audience of one, lucky that mirror on the wall witnessing the sweetness one of all, as my hips levitate off the bed, my body possessed, electrified, wincing, whining, moaning, grooving to the beat of my own tintillating tantric heat, shockwave after shockwave of hysteria, flooding my senses, drenching me to the bone in a most euphoric awakening. Oh, what an arousing morning.
She thought,
Jesus! Matitudinal sex. Self love. Self love in the morning. Wait a minute. Do you remember that song? Touch me in the morning. Oh, that is exactly what that is. Oh, that my heart in words. Oh, I'm telling you, I love the way she writes. I love the way she thinks.
I like the use of her. I like the way she used her adjectives. The limber fingers, sensitive bud, luxuriously soft and warm. And then even as she's going through and she's spelling more out as she gets to the intimate rhythm, the ambient sounds, and describes her sounds, the succulent rose, and um, then she used the word. She goes from torrid affair to there's tantric somewhere.
Uh,
Um, Titillating tantric heat. Um, I like the way she described the procession of everything. Hips levitating off the bed as
oh,
she is on display for her mirror. Um,
I
and
love.
by the way she's describing it, you know that she's watching herself off and on to see
Yes,
all these things
it's like
without outright saying it.
she's talking to that mirror. Goes, oh, look at how lucky you are, mirror.
Yeah,
In that sense, that mirror on the wall, witnessing the sweetest one of all. As my hips
yeah,
levitate off the bed, my body possessed, electrified, wincing, whining, moaning, grooving to the beat of my own tintillating tantric heat. Come on, that is delicious.
that's
Mm,
very delicious. Yeah.
Nadine, you have outdone yourself. Ah, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
Very beautiful, Nadine. Thank you.
Oh, you get to read the borderline.
Yes,
So glad she sent us one.
yes. Oops, hold on.
I think it's a little bit out of order, isn't it? Hold on.
No,
You put the first,
mine isn't. I don't think.
cause
The first one, because I want it now, is the first one.
oh, for me that's the second one.
Oh, for me, it's the first one.
Mm.
Sometimes WhatsApp does that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Kathy at the Borders of Creativity on both Instagram and on YouTube, and she does many shorts on YouTube. I believe she puts them up as reels on Instagram, and she
Correct.
puts them up as shorts on YouTube. And
And
so,
and she also has that wonderful kiss kiss me Friday
yes,
prompt.
her Kiss Me Friday prompt. I think this one I was scrolling through real quick. Jenga blocks or something. I have to look at it closer. I wasn't paying attention at the time necessarily, but I think it's something to do with Jenga blocks. Or, so that could be interesting. So because I want it now. My heart is the fire. My soul is the ice. I am a walking in the let me start over. My heart is the fire. My soul is the ice. I am a walking enigma. I draw you in. I push you away when you are too close. I break you apart. I put you together. Heal all your brokenness. And you are the pendulum swinging to opposite edges. I am sorry, yet very damn proud, because my love leads you in hysteria. And like the sinful bite of the forbidden fruit, I leave you starving desperately for more.
Hmm. So she is actually the cause of hysteria.
Yeah, she plays with that a lot in her poetry. She's just like, I am gonna break you, and then I'm gonna make you like it, and then I'm gonna put you back together again, and then I'm gonna break you again. I'm gonna make you beg for me to break you.
She is awesome. Awesome, awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
Um, I like that. I like that her poetry is uniquely her poetry, and she really does have her own voice, and she is unapologetic for it. And she gets there on video and reads her poems, and it's just like, you will love me. You will love me. And I love the confidence. I love the confidence of it. So, and she's very confident in this too. My heart is the fire, my soul is the ice.
I love the fact that she says, I mean, she's so confident in herself as a woman. She goes, yeah, I drew you in, but then I push you away.
Whereas I'm like,
You
that's
get
so
close, get
mean.
close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
She's just
basically,
like, I'm
come
here.
here, but go away. Come here, but
Yeah.
go away. So hence she is causing the hysteria.
And you were the pendulum swinging.
Ah,
It's poor hysterical man or woman.
it's
Um,
wonderful, 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 wonderful.
Very
Thank you,
nice, Kathy. Thank you for writing to us.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for writing with us. And so, we're almost at the end
The
of the show.
last two.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, mine. The next one is mine, and savage depravities. The specter lies surrounding your hysteria-filled dreams, with savage enchantment weaving into your slumber, love histories, and palpitating euphonies. He sadistically dances on your enamored soul and has enslaved your reverie. You and this disembodied apparition copulate, loving the tantalizing depravities he makes you feel, and then the unforgiving alarm rings.
The alarm always rings at the wrong time.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
It
does.
really does.
Does. Yes, it does. Especially when you're having such a wonderful dream and you're like there and you wake up and you're like,
Go back to
ah,
sleep. Yes.
because I mean, it's I my dreams can be very vivid if I immediately pen them down, like what I'm dreaming or what I woke up dreaming. But otherwise, I then forget them. It just
Really.
yeah. I don't maintain my dreams if I don't write them down immediately. But this was one that I recall correctly because I wrote about it, and it was almost as if I was something had possessed me in the middle of the night and
Oh
was
my.
love to me. But believe it or not, this was after seeing a movie from way back when, long, long time ago. I forgot the name of the stupid movie where the the ghost, like, you can see the ghost doing this to her. I forgot what it was. Oh my god, what was the name of the movie? I'll think of it. I'll think of it. But It was because of that stupid movie that this happened, and then the alarm clock rang. Because mine was, I didn't mind it.
I think I know the scene you're talking about. It was like in the 80s.
Yes, yes. That to capture it, they had to like put her in some kind of, they had to recreate her house, but in a controlled environment in order to capture the ghost.
I can see the scene, but I can't tell you what the movie is.
Telling you.
But I love this. I love the way that the words you use, the specter, hysteria, enchantment,
Yes.
palpitating. I love palpitating euphonies. Oh,
Oh, the word
that's
you
lovely.
need. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Me and my,
welcome. He sadistically dances on your enamored soul and has enslaved your reverie. He's controlling your reverie, even
oh,
its disembodied apparition. I mean, that's, yes, very gorgeous, Leslie. You paint a delicious picture of a dream that the alarm clock is very cruel to wake you from.
and the alarm. It's called the
You're welcome.
entity.
The movie,
The movie is the entity.
I remember that vaguely. I couldn't tell you what it was about other than going by the title, but I do remember the title and I remember that scene.
She is tormented, and it's a very, it's sadistic in a sense, because the the ghost is actually, you know RAPE, you know PING, her. And it's not fun to watch it, because she's not, you know she doesn't want this to happen, but at the same time, it's in her dreams that she wakes up like this. So you see her body moving because of this thing, but when she wakes up and realizes what's happening, she literally is, she feels that, she's being RAPING, and it's like, it's terrible. But yeah, it was that stupid movie. I had like briefly seen some of it, and then I had that dream, and then the stupid alarm clock rang.
And the dream wasn't terrible.
And it wasn't terrible for me. I was enjoying myself.
You're, you're like a little uninvited ghostly
Yes,
groping is a good thing.
yes, yes, yes. I don't find, I don't find, once again, there are very few things that make me blush.
And ghostly groping is not one of them.
That's right. That's right. Oh,
And so for our final poem, we have mine from the Breath of Daydreams on here and Instagram, and this is called Corralling Costs. Dreams that blister, morsed in code, forced to woad or stormed to waste, at a pace found cindered, mire bold, Suspire sold her kindled grace. Flee through the chasms and flee past thought's guard, flee hope of salvage, flee insanity's ward, flee chains of heartache, flee memories hitched, flee what's departed, flee or be nixed. Love's cursed mister, theft in sight, swayed night unfold through glass-caged veil. The gale forsworn to rotted blight, snuffed light in silent bid to scale. Fear leaves that mildew and fear fires reach, fear signs spun hopeful, fear hysteria screech. Fear tongues that harvest, fear shadows displaced, fear every movement, fear bleeds her erased. Cost's moon wane shackled, dimmed from scare, found unaware and bid to miss. Reminisce what was with vacant stare. engulfed to drown in martyred kiss. Face anguished weakness and face love's remorse. Face guarded silence. Face decisions divorce. Face foolish choices. Face hopes kept alive. Face reality's corpse. Face the truth to survive. Hope fleets restless, vain to crown. Siege cycled frown to flip unscathed. Lift in the sky and dare to drown. Might tears wash bound to early grave.
I absolutely love your use of repetition here over
Thank you.
and over again. Of course, with the word fear. Fear leaves that mildew and fear fires reach. Fear signs spun faith hopeful. Fierce hysteria screech. And then you go on and you do it again with face anguish, weakness, and face love's remorse. Face Gardner's silence, face decisions divorce. It's just absolutely lovely the way you use repetition um, in your poetry with such ease.
I like anaphora. Thank you.
It's gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Now, the thing is that this hysteria is not sublime right now in this poem.
No, this is the dark one of the bunch.
This is the dark bunch of it all, where it's, well, you're the writer, please explain, but to me, it's just like the being caught in that whirlwind of ups and downs and constantly being feeling like you're battered not only by everything around you but also by a man in your past, um and that hysteria can cause you so much harm, but you know what, there, you ended with hope, with at least a little glimmer of it, even though it bleats, as you say. Hope bleats restless, vain to crown, siege cycle frown to flip unscathed. And the person is lifting his her chin to the sky and dares to drown in the sky. Um, I really love it. I love everything about it. And you are, ah, you make suffering seem so beautiful.
Thank you. It's um it's actually because it was from this image that uh Kylie had did as a prompt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I played upon what those kind of images tend to be stereotypically in horror movies and whatnot due to uh, who the prompt is for. And often in those movies, you will have someone captured or incest or something where a woman gets pregnant and loses the child, or something horrible happens during um, the birth, be it the part um, where I write, hope leaks, restless, vain to crown, uh, perhaps the baby's turn, things like that. And so she loses the baby during this. And so this is describing those events going up through and the emotions that come with that uh, face anguished weakness, face love's remorse, face guarded silence because she's told to stay quiet. You know, you have to be quiet. You can't face decisions, divorce, face foolish choices, face hopes kept alive, face reality's corpse, face the truth to survive. So it's a very dark poem. Um,
Well, thank you.
taking along that emotional path.
See, and thank you for, wow, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Angelique, the way you write, and now I see it more clearly. So thank you. Um,
No, but I like what you saw in it because I it's interesting to see what people see in the words because sometimes people see things that I really don't see while I'm writing because when I'm writing I'm just writing. And so sometimes to hear what somebody says and then as I'm reading it going back and going, "Oh wow, that actually really makes a lot of sense." Huh. And I never see it until they say that. So I find that intriguing. Very cool. Thank you.
yes, yes, yes. So we've reached a beautiful hour, 2 hours and a half, Angelique. Once
We
again,
have.
we have an 150 minutes plus now. So
And
hours. And we didn't think that it was gonna be this long.
no, but we talked.
We talk. We just talk.
We
Well, if we
talked.
get a lot of poems in for the next one, we might not get that much of a chance to talk because we have a
Well,
lot.
yes, and if you see this on YouTube and you're not familiar with us on Instagram, or you see it and you are familiar with us and you would like us to read your poetry one night whenever we do this, we don't do this every Friday, but we do it once or twice a month, depending upon our schedules. Follow us over on Instagram, and when we're going to put a new prompt out and read, it'll be our big purple kitty post and you'll see it and you can come right and we would love to read you
And it will be pinned on both of our pages.
at the top.
Get the new one
Yeah.
up with the new prompts. I believe for the next prompt, we're going to select more words, just maybe a
Oh, we're
few.
doing words? Oh, I have an idea for the next one. I want
Oh,
to tell you about it.
gonna do. Oh,
Oh, I got
I
an idea. I
love
have an
it.
idea. Because a couple of different people wanted to do something for this one that would not fit this one, but I happen to love the toothiness of what they wanted to do.
Oh,
So I'm thinking, what if we have a prompt that has a little bite?
beautiful. Yay. Yay.
Be nice.
I can't wait.
So,
Well, thank you everyone that showed up to our live. Thank you for being here. We are honored to have you. Thank you to those that are going to listen to this live
yes.
on replay. You guys are so amazing. And Emily, it was the
Emily, thank you for watching all this time. I
yeah,
hope you have a great evening
it,
too.
it was
Um,
truly a pleasure to actually read your poem, Emily. And I am going to, I believe
loved it.
that I don't follow you on Instagram, but I'm going to go ahead and tickle my fingers towards your
I
page.
do. And she says, amazing poetry and conversations, ladies. Sparkles and
Uh,
big smiles. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you. You too. You too. We hope to see you next time.
yes, thank you, Emily. We appreciate you so much. And
Yes.
so,
And thank you, Leslie, for conversing and reading with me and making me blush as usual. And having some really I'm really happy with this that we had some really good conversation over sexuality and over um, different aspects of sexuality and the safety of it and that makes me happy because we are two we are two mature women in our age and you don't often see I think you don't often see men and women over 50 um, engaging like this on video online and we are that and so that
yes,
makes me happy to see we are representing
we are
um
representing over 50 and proud.
yes yes so uh thank you, Leslie, and I will have the times down. I was so excited with talking to Leslie that I forgot to keep times in the beginning. I'm sorry, but I will go back and rewatch it, and then I will have that down in the caption for everybody to watch on the video. And then Leslie will also end up having it once YouTube lets me down. So thank you guys.
Thank you
Oh, and
so.
go follow Leslie on YouTube if you haven't. Go follow her so that she can get up to 50 so that we can go back and forth on here. That would
But
be awesome.
always do YouTube as I always do Instagram as well. So, um,
Yes,
but it will be wonderful to have a second platform to do lives on
yes,
and enjoy ourselves because we can speak more freely here
yes.
a-
Getting banned.
without getting totally banned and stuff. There's less censure here, and so we can be more free about the titles we read and the way we express ourselves and our views
Yes,
because we
yes.
definitely have some views
Some views. So,
on you know our first 10 minutes was just
views. Yes.
views.
People come in to watch poetry and they're like, this is not
This is
poetry. No,
poetry, this is not poetry, and we're like but it is us and we
we
thank
do this because we love the poetry, but this is kind of like a relaxing evening for us. When we get together to do this, it is just Leslie and I doing whatever we are comfortable doing, and we make no apologies for it.
none.
And the people who write for us know what Leslie and I are like enough to know what to expect, and
Yeah.
so this is just a good Friday evening. Um, and we're going to speak our minds and read some good words and have a nice evening.
Some people go out and spend a lot of money and go to a dance club. Angelique and I spend our Friday
We go to
evening
YouTube.
reading poetry and talking.
Yes, yes, perfect.
Enjoy it.
Right, right.
Our
Thank you.
uh, our we're feeding intellect. We're not feeding frenzy little thoughts everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
But thank you
yeah,
once again for being part of our Feline Friday cravings. And we look forward to lives like this one more
yeah,
time. So, once again, look forward to that beautiful purple icon.
yes. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Good night.